Hey everyone! Yesterday, we found out that most of us are going to be spending a lot more time in our houses over the next 3 weeks. For that reason, I wanted to revisit one of the essential practices of being a Christian, studying the Bible. I know there's a lot of resources out there right now, but nothing replaces engaging directly with God by studying His Word or leading your family through a good discussion about a passage of the Bible. If you're new to studying the Bible, it can seem intimidating. So I want to give you 3 steps to studying the Bible. Those 3 steps are observe, interpret, and apply. And those 3 steps basically answer 3 questions. What does it say? What does it mean? And how does it apply to my life? Let me walk you through those 3 steps. The first one is observe. Now, this step is basically read it again, and read it carefully. Read the passage once, get a sense for the big picture. Who is writing? Who are they writing to? What is the basic idea they're trying to communicate? Read it a couple more times. What are the key words? What are the connecting words? What are some subpoints that the author is trying to communicate? Once you got a basic sense of what this passage is saying, let's move to the next step. Interpret. What does this passage mean? Now, that can seem like a really hard question to answer. I find that the best way to get started is by asking more questions. When I study the Bible, the first thing I do is I grab a notebook and I just start writing down questions until I have a whole bunch of questions about this passage. Who is the Apostle Paul? Where is the church at Philippi? What does the word propitiation mean? Why does he keep saying therefore? What does this passage tell me about God? What does this passage tell me about myself? There's a lot of questions that we can ask of Scripture. Ask a lot of questions, and once you've got a really big list going, then start to try to answer some of those questions. Write those answers in right next to the questions. Now, after you've been doing that for some time, you might realize, all right, there are some questions that are really hard to answer. I don't have an answer. When you get to that point, take some time, dig a little deeper, try to answer the question by reading and rereading the passage. Then reach for some resources. Reach for a study Bible, like the ESV Study Bible. There's some great study notes at the bottom of the page. You can get online, look for some good books or articles. Of course, when you get on the internet, there's some good stuff. There's some not so good stuff. Be careful what you use. Lastly, you can reach out, ask a friend. Don't go visit them in person right now, but give them a phone call, talk with them about the passage, email or reach out through social media to one of your pastors, ask them some questions or ask for some resources. The third step, once you've figured out what the passage means, then we apply it to our lives. How does this change my life this week? How does this change how I think, speak, and act? Be specific, get concrete. Write them down so that you can work and make progress towards those goals in your life. Maybe you read about forgiveness. Your application might be, I need to forgive Sarah this week. Maybe you read about sharing the gospel. Your application might be, I need to tell Bill about Jesus this week. Maybe you read about having faith in Jesus so that you can be saved from your sin. Your application might be, I need to put my faith in Jesus right now so I can be saved from sin. Studying the Bible happens in 3 steps. Observe, interpret, and apply. You might be on quarantine for the next 3 weeks, but God is not on quarantine. Engage with Him by studying His Word.